0 hour strikes, the clock ticks down. Rise from the ashes, wear your crown. No fear, no chains, break the mold, forge your destiny, fierce and bold.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the 0 hour. So we're going to kick this pig and get rolling. So good evening. As usual, I am Mark, and I'm half-ass ready, and I got my partner, Ohio Valley Prepping. And
Good evening, everybody.
And special guest tonight, Mymindon Press. Welcome in, Landon. So
Howdy.
Start them off. VP, let's tell everybody, hey.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody had a good weekend. World's on fire, so just keep prepping, keep doing what you're doing, keep your head on a swivel, and let's get into it.
Yep. How about you, Rural? Tell everybody, hey.
What is going on, everybody? I am Rural, and I am so excited to be here, and I hope that everybody in chat is just as excited as I am. If you are not, then you are watching replay, and great to have you on replay. Anybody who is just listening, safe travels for you or whatever it is you are doing. But other than that, let's kick this thing off.
Yeah. Tell them, hey, Landon.
Howdy, folks. I've been trying to keep up. Yesterday I lapsed a little bit, but hopefully I'm still up to date with most of my information. So,
well, there you go, and I'm sure we will find out what the chat wants to talk about when they get kicked up. But until they do, as usual, I wrote down a few things that, well, not even a few things, a couple of things. J-Man, good to see you, buddy. But we can talk about till we get a question. So, I tuned into a couple of lives this weekend, and Will, you're always talking about finding people.
Mm-hmm.
And so mags are a big part of what we do. Yeah. If you're doing it right, I think it's a big part of what we do. And so in other lives this weekend, I was watching Vision Preparedness Saturday evening, and him and Mad Shad were talking about mags, and got me to thinking, and we got to talking about mag leadership.
Yep.
So and look, and there's no right answer, right? There's no one way to do everything that's correct, right? But I just want to know y'all's opinion on mag leadership. Is it important? Is it something I'm wasting my time thinking about, or is it not important? Is it important? How what's the best way you think to do it? We'll start with you there, OVP.
Well, I watched Vision's live stream too, and I liked what they were talking about, that kind of whoever's area of expertise that is, whatever they're doing, if it's, Ghost's area of expertise, then he's in charge, So I think that's a good way to do it there, is whoever knows more about whatever it is you're doing at the time, they're running that operation for the day or for the time being or whatever. So yeah, I kind of like it that way. I don't think, you really need one person that's, barking out instructions the whole time.
Right.
But of course, somebody's going to be like the designated leader, most likely in normal situations. And that probably just kind of comes by committee, so that's my thought.
Right. What do you think, Earl?
Well, I think it's extremely important because all the people that want to run by groups, that's great for a lot of things, right? To set it forth and vote. Sometimes you don't have that luxury. You need a decision now, right? So I think to have mag leadership is important. But my thing is, and we were watching a movie over the weekend. Granted, it's a zombie movie, but one of the things They got everybody together. They started doing some things. And within the first 15 minutes, they started eating themselves from the inside out. Like, it's all great to run and gun, and it's all great to grow and to do medical. But if you can't keep those people together, what's the point, right? Like, MAG leadership is all about making sure those people are on point, focused. You're keeping all the BS and the drama and all the infighting to an absolute minimum. So I think leadership goes above and beyond what a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess it's me.
You got something wicked bad going on there, dude.
I think there's an airplane going over that's
I don't know. I believe that's something going on the inside because he's locked up. So, yep. Oh, maybe.
He moved a little bit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Right.
How's it working now, son? Well, there you are.
Hey, there we go.
Back, start again.
We'll start again. I think, you know me, I love my pace plans for everything, pace plan for leadership too. I agree with OVP for sure. Like if it's your thing, it's your bag, right? Like I'm no radio guy. I'm gonna let the radio guy run that. And you know, in our thing, it's kind of like on the ground tactical decisions probably land with me, but overall, you know, direction, it needs to be somebody other than me because I have a lot on my plate. Having a pace plan is training the guy that might replace me if something happens, right? You can't get too far into pace plan. The emergency plan is everybody needs to just get out of here and do what they need to do. But having a goal in mind and finding somebody who can put spirit into it, I think that's where you're going to find the person who at least pushes the wheel left or right a little bit. And then, especially with rural, keeping Joe and Bill from fighting it out. That's a big deal.
Well, I know when we were talking about it Saturday night, I always put my 2 cents worth in. But I know when we were talking about it Saturday night, I seen a comment in there that rule by committee is mass hysteria. Okay, mm-hmm. So I just don't think you can operate during SHTF running everything by committee.
Not efficiently.
Now, committee, again, we've talked about this. There are bylaws. There should be a written pace plan for your leadership for your MAG, right? But if you want to choose a leader by committee, you do that before now. Well, when SHTF happens, I don't know that you're going to have time to run everything by committee, right? Mm-hmm. So I think leadership, and I'm a firm believer in one man being in charge of that situation. You're running a military compound, mm-hmm. And yep. So you have to approach it in a military way, I think. Again, now there are certain things that you need to run through committee before you alienate a bunch of people, right? But at the end of the day, if you have rolled onto someone else's property and set up homestead in their homestead, then you have to bow to some of that person's rules, mm-hmm. Right? I mean, he's invested time, money, lots of things in this, and if it's a place of refuge for you, you want it to be a place of refuge for you, right? Yep. So again, maybe you don't like the plan, but if you don't like the plan, you don't like the plan. So if You need to start your own MAG.
Mm-hmm.
The boy had to go. I see he's having technical difficulties. So, but again, I mean, I know there's no, like I said, there's no right answer to this.
No.
Right? There's no right answer to this. And so let's add in. There we go.
There we go.
They're on to me.
Yeah. You sound better now, though. Whatever, you had a bad connection or whatever. You do sound so much better now.
Good.
But you know, and I, yeah, and I like that, Watchman. You're right. You know, yeah. When SHTF happens, we watched it happen here with our hurricane experience. You know, and it happened not only to our neighborhoods, it happened to our county and city governments, it happened to our state government. It was mass confusion, right? Mm-hmm. There was a lot of stuff broken, a lot of stuff going wrong, and nobody had the answer, right? So, and good evening, Teresa. And, but then they still don't want to listen to you. But, yeah, well, and, you know, that's the thing too, Watchman. I mean, it's like all the shit everybody's panicking about right now. You know, we're all of a sudden everybody's pissed off because gas prices go up. Everybody's pissed off because supply chains. Look, man, we've been dealing with this shit since 2020. If this is causing you inconvenience right now, you probably should. Yeah,
I know what you're getting at. Yeah,
but you're probably not prepping correctly, right? I mean, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, and I don't want to offend anyone, but I'm going to offend somebody with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
But truth is truth. So if you're inconvenienced right now because of a supply chain of something coming through the Straits of Hormuz, you ain't been prepping right.
Correct.
But also with just dealing with drama and people, if you're choosing people with greater leadership skills than the average Joe, right, you can evaluate people kind of on their leadership too. I've spent a lot of time training my leadership skills only to be found in a follower role, which I feel like makes me better in the follower role.
Sure.
Right. And some people haven't gotten to that level. And if I'm not in charge, then nobody can be in charge, is their thought most of the time. And yeah, your idea might be great, man. We all kind of shot it down. And, you know, boss says we're not doing it. You kind of have to follow at this point. Right? Like, make suggestions, do what you need to do. We still value your skills. But I think having somebody with you with some actual leadership experience, even if they're not in the leadership role, is very valuable. That's one of the stats, right? If we could pick stats for people, you would definitely have that in the lineup.
Yep.
Well, Dana's got a question for OVP and Rural because I watched it on TV as best I could tell y'all, but she wants to know how was the leadership and follow through from that toxic train derailment from a year or so ago. Well,
yeah,
like 2 years ago now.
Well, see, you're referring to government and FEMA, and they have no leadership. So, I mean, that's a loaded question.
Yep.
That's Mark how FEMA works out during the hurricane.
Yeah, I still hadn't seen my first FEMA.
If you're waiting on the government to come and save you, you're in big trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there you go. So,
yep.
But and I'm going to post this comment because JS Genesis likes to mess with me. So, yeah, hey, look, JS, we got to get back to the aliens for long, but you know,
well,
the Iran thing has definitely got a lot of people's attention. And again, look, we're into it 7 days now, right? Let's don't panic. And I think, like Watchman was talking about, we need hundreds of gallons of gas. Everybody can't store hundreds of gallons of gas. I can. Right. I can store a few gallons, but we should all have some money set aside for these things. right? We should all have some money. That's part of prepping too, I think.
Financial preparedness is one of the hardest things to talk to people about. It is. I understand. I don't have the bricks of money out in front of me. Right. That's because they're not here. Yep. But the talking to someone and saying, "Hey, listen, man. Like, if you're $50,000 in credit card debt, you have to tackle that.
Yep.
Or else you will not have the capital to even get a quarter of the way of what you think you're going to get. And the things you do get, I know you're getting a loan. The bank is going to take it, and then you're back to square negative one.
Yeah.
There's the financial preparedness, which, you know, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but as a younger, who's definitely like closer to being debt free than I ever have been in my life, outside of like house and car, right? House and car, you need that shit. You need a car to get to work. You need your house so that no one else around you complains. Because if it was up to me, I'd be in a lawn chair out in the shed, right? So,
yeah,
but, and I'd be just fine. Talking it through, saying, "Hey, man, this is the money I've got. This is what I've got to prep with. I want night vision. I don't need night vision right now. You know what I do need? I do need a rain barrel system for this house.
Right.
Not the most expensive venture I can go on, but it still costs some money and time. Time is the only thing I've got. That's the only thing that somebody can't take away from me. So time is a factor on a lot of things, along with the finances. It's shortly followed after. And I would love to get some property and have acres and acres of hay growing. And well, it sounds like I'm starting a business. It's weird how you need capital to do that.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right. So Tuck's asking, continuing on the Ohio train derailment thing there, was there significant non-official leadership demonstrated after the train wreck? So did you see non-official leadership?
Well, I mean, yes and no. Official was a bunch of talking heads that have names that are easily recognizable in the public sphere that did a bunch of talking with no actionable anything to follow suit. The significant non-official, there was a lot of people that kind of came together, a lot of nonprofits and a lot of smaller YouTube channels and things went up there and tried to get, you know, the spotlight shown, brought supplies, actually put boots on ground and tried to help. Yeah. And that says a lot. You get into any sort of a bad situation, the people that are officially titled to come help you, good luck. The people that is a perfect stranger, usually will be right there.
Yeah. We had, and Landon can touch on this too. We had a lot of that here. I mean, Landon can talk about it a lot. In his official capacity, he's seen probably more. Well, tell him, Landon, you've probably seen more people.
There were a few kinds of people that came around wanting to help, which there were some charlatans in there. All right. And thankfully we had some people who weren't actual bobbleheads involved in some sort of government that could help out with that. But there was like the guy who was like, I need to help. Came here without a plan. He got every chainsaw in his car, every gallon of gas he could buy on the way, cases of water, and showed up and was like, and now what? Right? Which, love those people. I admire the heart greatly. And then once they get here, it needed somebody who could separate cranial cavity from anal canal to get them to where they needed to be. And then there was the people who had a plan, knew where they were going, and could not deviate. If they deviated, the plan crumbled. And then they were just like the first guy, right? Yeah. And some of their plans didn't involve getting in touch with people. Some of their plans were like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to go to this place that I know, that I went on vacation or something before, and I could handle business down there because I know some of the people, right? I made friends there. And once the friends were helped, they went, all right, and crap, out of steam. Then there were the people who came with big money, big gear, big plans, and heavy connections. That some of the guys that came in were connected with like the mule packers. All right, they didn't just come here like and not know what to do. They knew what they could do, and then they found the people who that could tell them what to do and made friends with them, and then told them their capability, and they got put to work. Right? They showed up with a lot of know-how. Then there was the people, the charlatans, right? They bought a bunch of generators in Indiana, drove down, and decided to mark them up quintuple the price and try to sell to desperate people. All right. And those people got turned on really quick, thankfully. But there, around a disaster, right? I talk with half-ass about this all the time. There's waves of looting. Well, and in, you know, that's kind of my system of how it works. There's first, second, third wave looting. And then there's kind of like first and second wave helpers. First wave helpers are the people who went, I got to go. The second wave helpers were the people who maybe waited a couple days. When they got here, yes, it was easier for them to do, but their impact was greater. The people that came and set up supply points, they weren't here day one. They probably did the most help to some of the most affected areas, and they weren't here day one. They were here day 4, day 5. They just had to make the infrastructure. They could. What's the point in setting up a supply point, because it's the closest place you could get? It's not anywhere near you need to be. So, you know, they had plans in mind, and we talk about this often. We'd love to just load up a trailer and head east. You know, every time there's a hurricane that hits the coast, or head west when there's wildfires or whatever. We'd love to be like, hey, listen, this weekend I'm cashing some of that PTO. We're going. Yeah. And we established connections with people that could help.
Right. And
we quickly found out that the connections we had were running into the same issues we were. Right. They didn't have the network already set up.
Right. But yeah, and you know, that's the kind of the difference. You know, it's funny, we're talking about two different disasters, right?
Yeah.
The difference was we were trapped in our bug-in location, right? Those folks in Ohio,
they had to leave,
had to get out or die, right? Yeah. So, you know, again, we talk about planning. We're back on the planning thing, Earl. Imagine that.
Weird. Yeah, funny how that works out.
It's funny how that works out.
Here's my thing, too. I've seen this a ton. People get into the mindset of you prepare because something bad's going to happen, so we prepare for the bad. But the mistake is we need to prep and plan for if things work out, right? And it's something as simple as this Saturday we're going to go to the zoo. Okay, well, the weather's going to be good. We're not going to get a flat tire. We got plenty of gas. We're going to pack lunch. Like, plan all that out that everything goes perfect, because guess what? There's a possibility that things do. And if something happens, then you pivot. You've already got the plan if something goes south, right?
Yep.
Like, plan for good, plan for bad, and if something goes, usually you meet in the middle somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's all about the planning, and Cody, I know we fun about that shit all the time, man. Oh, the zombie apocalypse. But look, if you're planning for the zombie apocalypse, you're covered for a whole lot of other stuff. Right?
That's true.
Yep.
These plans, it don't matter what you put in front of the apocalypse.
Yep.
Well, maybe the alien thing. Okay, JS, maybe the alien thing, you might have to plan a little different, okay? But
they didn't. I didn't hear anything about the alien thing. They were going to release all these files.
Has to put it in the damn chat every time he comes on, because
well, they were going to release these files, and I think it was a backup plan in case the war didn't. In case after the war started, they were still asking about the Epstein files. They thought, okay, well, if we need to do this on top of the war, we'll go ahead and do it so we can forget about these, you know, Jeffrey files. But since the war kind of got rid of them, they didn't bother with the alien thing. See, they had a plan. See, right? We just talked about a plan. They had a plan.
Yeah, they had a plan. So, but there you go. They had a plan. And I tell you, the government has lots of plans. So,
oh, yeah.
There's thousands of plans. But You know what, Watchman, you hit on something there, and that was the big problem here, and I'm sure it is everywhere there's a damn hurricane. Landon's been to way more hurricanes than I've been to, but yeah, look, you couldn't get to help. You couldn't receive help if you needed it. You couldn't give help if you wanted to. You couldn't get anywhere. The infrastructure was destroyed. So, and I'm sure that happens in every natural disaster. I mean, I'm sure in forest fires, it melts roads and makes roads impassable. And, I'm sure that happens.
Well, prime example is when I went to Texas, right? I got deployed to Texas when I was in the military for Hurricane Irma. I think it was Irma. And it hit Rockport, Texas. All right. It's just north of Corpus Christi. It's almost to the Gulf. We stayed in Corpus Christi. We landed in Corpus Christi, got out. Stuff was down there, but it wasn't really bad. When we got to Rockport, the winds had gotten so hard, it had pushed mobile homes and broken their hurricane straps, not just on their sides, but on their roofs. People were trapped in their houses because they couldn't climb the incline of their roofs to get to a door, to be able to reach high enough to reach a doorknob. Like people were cutting holes in their roof to get out, and we were helping. Well, one thing that the wind did was yank every street sign in the county down. To this day, can't tell you what road I was on, because a state trooper stopped us and gave us a radio and was like, "You guys good to help?" I had 15 Marines in a couple vans. I was like, "Yeah." That rental company was pissed. First thing I did, jerk out a permanent marker and have that trooper draw a map on the hood of that van. I need major arteries, hospitals, in case I got to take somebody there, and I need a way out. Like, where do I leave this place if I have to leave in a hurry? And he drew us a wonderful map. And I mean, cell phone service was down. We didn't stop anywhere to get any maps. You couldn't get any. There's just nothing. Was either I'd have to break into a place to get one or draw one myself, and I basically got the next best thing. So he drew us this map, and we kind of spliced everything together. One of us had an iPad, so we kind of like put it up on an iPad, and we had some digital maps that we could kind of reference. Can't tell you what roads we were on, but I knew there is a left up here we have to take. Our pace planning had no account for if we just don't know where to go, but we made it work. And we copied that map on every hood of any rental vehicle we had. If you could read a black Sharpie on it, there was a map on that surface. And it was to the point there were people from the area taking pictures of the map with their phone so that they could leave. We'd be like, "Hey, you need to get to this place. This is about where we're at. Go south to this road and follow it till it stops." There's we knew where one rally point was, like, get to it. I know my area. That's not something really on my radar, but one thing I do need to know is the terrain between my house and that man's house. There's a big ass mountain in the way. A big old mountain. Can't get there. So it's good to know your area. And if you just don't know it, like if you're going to go to these places, you have to learn how to recruit guides real quick.
JD's got a question for you there, rural in Ohio Valley. Y'all heard anything from JBS?
No, I need to text him. I haven't heard anything from you. Heard from him? Oh, good.
Yep, he's
still
just
doing
busy.
okay.
Yep, he's just busy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and you're right there, Cute V. You have to. That's why we call it pace planning, because pace plan's actually 4 plans, right?
Yep.
So, and we've gone over pace planning, and Lan and I both have videos on our channel about pace planning, but a pace plan is generally 4 plans, because every plan will collapse on first contact, and that's a military saying, but it's equivalent to whatever disaster you're going into. It works for anything. And look, man, we had the hurricane here. Out west they have the forest fires. We have forest fires here too, not quite like they have out there. But these tornado events that are starting, Okay, the tornado season is upon us.
Yep.
If you live in that's a whole different plan. Okay, and that definitely takes some preparation, right? That is definitely something. If you live in a tornado area, you that is a plan you need to take very seriously. And yes, it's going to cost you some money, and there's some things you have to do, but these are things that could save your life. I saw the video of that one hit southern Michigan, and what a beautiful community it hit too. It's a lakeside community. What a beautiful place it hit, and just destroyed it. I mean, just destroyed it. And there was one guy talking about how it just the tornado hit his next door neighbor's house and then lifted up and then hit his other neighbor's house. Just went right over the top of his house, right? So it's so non-selective or absolutely selective of where it hits and what it does. But this is a tough plan. Now, Landon and I do not live in. We've had one tornado since 1976 touchdown in our county. But you two guys live in tornado country?
No. If you get the west side of Ohio, it gets pretty flat, and they have tornadoes out that way. But I'm on the east side. I'm in like the foothills of the Appalachians. And tornadoes like flat land, and we don't have any flat land. So.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty good up in the mountains, but look, they can and will touch down everywhere. But I mean, again, it's not a big enough threat for me to go out here and dig a storm shelter, right? Now, my wife is from Central Kentucky. And when her dad built their home when she was a child, he actually built a storm cellar into the home, right? So you people that live in the Midwest, but all right, so you got a hole to hide in. Do you have what you need to survive till the power gets back on, right?
Yep.
Right.
So this is part of your pace planning, right? And do you have a way to do the things you have to do to survive? Landon and I seen it down here. Folks that might have had water or a way to get water didn't have a way to boil it or heat it to have a warm meal. And look, those little stoves and a can of that tri-fuel, they're pretty cheap, right? So, I keep like 18 ways to heat water because I'll have to have coffee or everybody's going to. Yeah. What'd you pay? $9, $10 for that thing?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was like $7.99.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yep.
And if I ain't mistaken, that also has a little igniter on it. Yeah, you don't even have to have a book of matches, and you do have to have the fuel, though.
Yep, you have to have the fuel.
You have to have the fuel. But hey, there's my boy. That's right, Trent. Coffee for the win. But it was, and again, Landon's out in the community way more than I was after Helene, and I'm sure he's seen more of it than I did. People who hadn't had a hot cup of coffee for 4 days because they didn't own a little $7 mini stove, right?
Do you know how many people asked me if I knew where I could find a game of Monopoly?
Yeah.
I don't have enough fingers or appendages to count. Okay, they're like, listen, man. Anybody giving out board games? My kids are about to tear the walls down in the house that I have left. I can't afford it. It's like, dude, you didn't already have Monopoly, or bicycle cards, or dice, or nothing. And that's one of the nicer things, right? That's the nice to haves, the lickies and chewies. I was asked about board games, and there were some people who were coming forward like, listen, man, this has changed my entire life. Where can I get a coat? They're not even planning for the winter, and all of a sudden they're like, I need a winter coat. So the varying degrees of where people are at, There were some people handing out stoves, which I thought was neat. You know, they bought the single burner Coleman stoves that it sits on a little tripod stand, has a hose off of it. They're huge, but they'll heat a lot of water at once.
Yeah.
And they also use propane.
Yep.
Well, shortly after you couldn't find propane, I remember them handing out a lot of those little camp stoves. You know, and it was probably the same people coming back.
Right.
Yeah, I might not have a world supply of propane sitting around. Man, I've got enough to make it 2 weeks because I know that's what I might need. Especially at this point. Time tested 14 days, right? And some people longer. But having something, you need something because y'all, I grew up when the internet came out. Okay, y'all grew up without the internet for a long time. What did you do before the internet? The things you're going to do when the power's out. You're going to read books, do puzzles, play Monopoly. You're going to shout at your dog a little more because you're paying attention to how much he barks. And you're going to shout at your kids a little more because they're a little louder when they don't have their iPads. And my man, you need the loudness my mind made because I had a tree hit my house. I thought I was going to have another one hit the house. I was worried about my family. I was worried about the community. I was worried about a lot of things. I needed things to quiet my mind. And also the hurricane hit like the day before my shipment of tobacco got here. It wasn't safe for anybody. All right. So I was in a weird place where it's like, man, I kind of wish I'd ordered like twice the number 2 weeks ago, you know, and thankfully I have enough interest where I had stuff to keep my mind quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. And, well, again, we were fortunate when the hurricane hit at the time of year, we were fortunate that it didn't get really cold down here.
It was actually unseasonably warm after and did not rain until like Christmas.
Yeah. So we
got so lucky.
But so talking about board games, do you keep a lot of board games, OVP?
No, I don't.
No.
I got decks of cards in that. But kids are all grown and gone, so it's not like they don't need to be entertained. They're the youngest one's 30, so I mean, if they can't entertain themselves, that's their own problem at this point in time. But yeah, if you had younger ones, that would make perfect sense. But it's just me and the wife. We got things like this to entertain us.
Oh, my dog had a blast.
Okay, she has thumbs. She has thumbs. All right, Mittens, you and your thumbs get off me.
But Earl, you keep a lot of board games because I know you've got a young one.
Yeah, we've got the kids in the house, so we've got a whole bookshelf of games, and yes, you can only play so many hungry hippos, which we have the Jurassic Park, so it's hungry velociraptors, but
that's way cooler.
But I mean, you can still get for adults. I mean, they make Apples for Apples, Cards Against Humanity. I mean, they make stuff that you can still play as adults and have your fun times too. That because you need that as well with anybody who has kids. You love your kids, you love your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, but you still need to be an adult, right? You need adult time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have given anything to have a game of poker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, and me and all the neighbors were threatening doing it. I'm like, I think I got $20 in the change jar. I think we can have a poker game.
I've been purchasing these escape room games that you just get a folder, right? It's just got information in a folder, and you go around the room. Now, most of them have a if you really want to know if you solved it or not, you have to go online. And we weren't able to go online during all that. So, but I've been buying those, and they're pretty cool. So, in fact, Lane and I went in a gaming store over the last weekend, and they had some really cool ones in there. So, and I'm with you, ADRVT. Books are my thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love books, and I have that deck too. He's got a deck of the World Without Law cards. I have a deck of those too.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I do have a chessboard.
There you go. I mean,
It's nice to be able to flex your brain on a problem that isn't keeping you alive.
Yeah.
When you're on your phone all day, you're eating, mental Doritos, right, all day. When you ain't got it, you something just to quiet the noise. And man, and I'm working a lot better now about trying to be off my phone as much, and for this reason now. I've actually cut way out since Hurricane Helene. Like, honestly, I like stopping cold turkey for a few days, like, kind of helped. But I keep a bunch of books. I have every role-playing game known to man. If you want to come to my house and play Dungeons and Dragons, I'll convince you to play something else right after. I promise. I've got all the cool ones. War games, you name it. I've got it all. Board games, got it. And that's just it's an interest of mine. I think it's fun, but it serves two purposes. That bookshelf I don't have to feed it.
Yeah, right. And again, the bookshelf. Look, that's another prepping thing that I take pretty serious. And I know Rural does too. I've seen some of what he keeps, but that's information you don't have to have power to access,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have to have internet to access, and it really doesn't eat anything. It takes up some room, but it doesn't eat anything. And there you can stack your library. We're talking about leadership, right? Pull up the commandant list, required reading list, and when you consume those books, you will pick up leadership skills. Okay, mm-hmm. That's why the commandant expects every private first class to read these books.
Mm-hmm.
Because Letters to Garcia, Warrior Ethos. I've read a bunch of them.
Yeah, sure you have.
Yeah.
And but you can, and you don't have to go with the commandant's reading list. There's probably several reading lists out there, but you need to start stockpiling those books and consuming them.
Okay.
And there's tons of training novels. If there's a skill that you think you need for your homestead, your bug in location, your bug out location, a survivor skill that you're not great at, start piling that literature up and start practicing that stuff.
Yep.
I mean, the thing about it is, most Sunday nights we're all preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But I did see a couple of new people in our chat.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we can help them out. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That's because that's what we're all here for.
Yeah. And one excellent way to train leadership, take children camping.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially if they've never been camping before. You think taking 2 7-year-old boys out into the woods to go camping for a night isn't a challenge because you brought your tent, you know what you're going to cook and all that. That plan's going to go to hell because I promise you them boys are going to decide as soon as you start cooking they don't like sausage.
Right.
And also they're going to have questions, you answering them as leadership. They're going to be like, why do we do this way? To them it seems stupid. Right? Why? It's not going to rain tonight. Why are we putting the tarp on the tent? Well, several reasons, and this is why. And we need to do a good job because if we don't, this is the outcome, right? And they're children. You can't be that non-diplomatic. and if they're going to learn, they need to know the answers. It's like that. Dad got a crap ton of that training, taking Boy Scouts into the wilderness. Now, I mean, hours from getting to somewhere where you can even get close to something that you might consider civilization and being on your own and hoping nothing goes wrong, which stuff did all the time. And we handled it. But thankfully we had good leadership and then we had leadership within the boys as well, right? So tasks could get handled, even though they couldn't do a man's task already. You send 5 Boy Scouts to do something. Yeah. All right. Listen, they're going to take a lot longer because they're going to grab ass and they're going to do whatever. They're going to come back covered in mud. One of them's going to be crying. Another one's going to have lost something, but the task will be done.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly how that works. So, Puzzle Observer wants to know what the best long-term storage food brand is. And of course, he put up Augustin Farms ? Which is one of my favorites. The price point is good, and it's good. Trent over at Vision Preparedness has turned us on to Nutrient Survival, which makes some really good stuff, and they supplement their stuff with more vitamins too.
Right.
So, again, I don't know that there's a best one, Puzzle Observer. What do you think, Rural? Do you have a best one?
No, I mean, mine's going to be this kind of the same thing. I've got a lot of Augustin Farms. I like Nutrient Survival just because, I mean, for me, before Nutrient Survival, let me pull this. Here's my supplements right here in case stuff goes bad. So I got my vitamins and things if I'm not eating correctly because I can't get the food that I need and things like that. Nutrient Survival really went through and solved it. I guess my answer for that is going to be, what is going to be the best price point for you that you will eat, right? Because we all have a different palate. So you need to buy something, see if they've got a sampler pack. A lot of them do. Buy it, try it, see if you actually eat it. And if the price point's good and it's good food, that's the one for you.
Yeah. OVP, you got a favorite?
I'd say most of what we have come from My Patriot Supply.
Yeah.
But as far as, I don't know if there is a best either. I mean, it's all freeze-dried food, all going to last a long time. Like Vision said, there are ones that have more nutrients that are better for you than others. And from what I've learned, and most of us, that Nutrient Survival is probably the best one as far as nutrition goes. So that's something to keep in mind. But they are a little bit higher price than some of the other ones, but you get what you pay for too. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with Rural. If it's fits your budget and you'll eat it, then go for it.
Yeah. What do you think, Orlando?
I like My Patriot Supply. Same. I haven't tried everything. At my house, I mean, for me, just because I'm the armed combatant knuckle dragger, I got a lot of MREs handy. Even though they're killing you, I've been eating them for years, so maybe I'll be a very pretty corpse for a long time. But for me, I have different food needs for different things, right? If it's going to be a lot of high activity, I need something good, right? If I'm out chopping wood all day, yeah, it's simple, but it's hard work. You got to take care of your body.
Yep.
And there's just going to be things you didn't know you needed. You know how much vitamin C is in a lot of stuff? You know how much vitamin C is in not in a lot of stuff that you grow?
Yep.
Right.
There's not a lot of vitamin C out there.
Yep.
So for me, it's what keeps the longest for the thing it needs. I can suffer through eating anything. I promise. I've eaten some rancid things in my life. Not everybody in my house is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, maybe keep some emergency around for that particular problem. Now, if My Patriot Supply made hey, here's your vitamin C bucket, that might be my answer. It's one of those things where pick a brand and also the shelf life. If you have something that has 50-year shelf life, whatever it is, the longer that shelf life is, the more I read into it, the less it's actually nutritionally valuable. It's more about calories at some point. It's more about volume at one point. But I also, if I get something that I can replace every 10 years, can you afford to replace all this every 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
So now you get into that 8 to 10 year shelf life, you're getting very good food. That's the balance I've found. Anything less, it's not worth keeping around because it's usually really expensive to replace. Anything more, you're losing nutrient value. And you having a mountain of supplements ready, honestly, you can buy powdered supplements online and make your own capsules if you wanted to. You can plan that far ahead. How long it'll keep depends on you. So, do you want something guaranteed 25 years, or do you want something, I packed it, it'll be good for about 7.
There's a lot. But there's a lot of people, you will become a nutritionist real quick that you're going to go, why is it all of a sudden I'm getting really bad headaches? Or why am I always tired? And you're going to start realizing what nutrients and vitamins, and it's not just about calorically dense, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's in the short term.
Yeah.
But when you start getting to the thing where you're just like, why can I not wake up to a really bad headache every single day? Hey, maybe we're missing salt or something in our diet that we normally got all the time. I can't grow salt. A lot of times, most people don't grow sugar cane. I can't in my area. And these are things that you need, right? They have mineral licks for animals for a reason.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. And a mineral lick isn't a bad way to it ain't bad for people either sometimes. You're right.
That's all you got.
Yeah. But yeah, look, the long-term food storage thing is it should be every prepper's wheelhouse, right? We should all, and it ain't just about what you buy, it's what you produce too. Right. So we should all be, look, you grow better stuff than you can buy, right? But learn how to preserve it, and look, there is tons of information. One of the biggest sections of my library is books on meat preservation, food preservation. One of my largest sections of my prepper storage area is cans and pressure cookers and so, but and J-Man, you can lick that thing, dude. I'm telling you, you, dude. I'm telling you.
Now I just got this picture in my head of J-Man out
licking a damn
on all fours, licking a rock. Yeah.
And then, Watchman, that's a good point. That's a good point right there. I realize everybody don't live in the mountains. Everybody don't live in the desert. Everybody don't live near the ocean, right? So it goes back to that local knowledge of your bug in, bug out location, right?
Yep.
So if your bug out location is Tucson, Arizona, and you live in Montana, now getting there, I realize I'm stretching, right? Getting there's a long way, but my point is, do you know enough to go from here to there and survive? Mm-hmm. And if you don't know enough, do you have enough? Can you bring what you need with you? You know what I'm saying? So look, food is terribly important. Food and water and air are 3 very important things, and shelter. But you need to be able to sustain your prep, and a true SHTF event where we're, when you're talking about a year or more before you see any sense of normalcy, can you do that? You have to ask yourself that question. And look, if you don't think you're ever going to have to do that, then don't prep for it.
Yep.
Right. This is, I remember when I first started going to a gymnasium, when I was playing ball growing up, I did whatever the coach told me to do. Right. But when I first started going, the trainer would say, it's your workout. It's your workout. Do what you want to do, right? Do what you're doing for whatever you're doing it for. But this is your prepping. This is your life.
Yep.
And, look, we kick out all kinds of crazy ideas and all kinds of really cool equipment. And, we're always talking about our gardens and I love it. I do too. But but it's your prepping game, and if you don't think you need to prep for, for me on the natural disaster thing or the power being out thing, for years my wife and I have gone 2-3 days, 2-3 days, and you are so wrong about that. You're so wrong, Trent.
Then I've been wrong for a long time.
Yes, but it's your life, it's your game. So I thought for 3 days was going to be enough of power being out, and then I found out that you might have to go 15 days without power. Okay, you might have to go 60 days without internet and cable. So I'm just saying, you have to plan your game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the bad thing about losing our game, you may need a pine box, right? Because the number one rule of this game is survival, and so we may or may not have to, you may or may not need that pine box. So it's your game. Just do it. What the hell is JS Genesis putting on?
JS Genesis giving us a 5-minute warning.
Oh, well, you're a good dude. Yeah. You're a good dude, JS. Are we boring you that bad, JS? You want to talk about the damn aliens some more or what? Right. Yeah, Tuck. Yes. It really does suck, Tuck, especially right in the middle of baseball playoffs when the yeah, it sucks really bad. But I did rediscover something that I'm gonna look. We are getting down to the wire, but I'm going to leave this with my personal sign off. I discovered a regular AM/FM radio that requires batteries is. Hello, Indy. Good to see you, girl. But that was a lifesaver. A lifesaver. Not just for me. It was a mind saver for everyone. At least we could get on the radio. If you had a phone, you could commiserate with everyone. but it was the only place we could get information. The local TV and radio stations transmitters ran out of fuel. They weren't even transmitting at times. So the radio was the only way we got reliable information about water and power and things and roads that were closed and bridges that were out. And we weren't getting any information from the internet or from outside telephonically. So the radio was a real lifesaver. And if that's not part of your prepping, make it part of your prepping. And I'm not going to preach on it long because I've always had a radio, but and if the cable goes out, you can still listen to the Braves on the radio. But I'm going to leave off with that. OVP, tell them what you got to say, and we'll get the hell out of here.
Advert, yeah, I got one of them too. Little solar AM/FM radio. Yeah. It's about yay big, and it's got a solar panel and a hand crank. So if you can't charge it for solar, if it's dark or whatever, you can hand crank it too. Yeah, those things are like priceless. And they're cheap. You can pick one up on Amazon, like Advert was saying, for they're not very much, and they're well worth the few bucks you're going to spend on one. Guys, just learn as many skills as you can. Like I say every week, skills, because your preps are only going to last so long. And if something happens long term, eventually the skills are going to be what saves you. So other than that, just stay close to your family, keep your head on a swivel, and just be safe. Keep doing the things.
Yep. Rural?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, I've been talking a lot about having goals and having that plan and the things that we've been talking about. The difference is success is not final. Failure is not final, right? I can be successful today and tomorrow it can fall flat. The next day I can fail and then succeed. So what it comes down to, it's about courage to keep going. It's about commitment. It's about devotion. It's about having the correct mindset that whether you're failing or whether you're succeeding, keep going. We need to keep going. And so that's what I hope every one of you to keep doing tonight is just one step at a time, baby steps, whatever it takes, keep going.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Landon, you tell everybody good night and drop whatever words of wisdom you need to tell.
Train your butts off. If I ever make a t-shirt, it's going to say at my house, we ruck. All right. I ask Pops. I don't go hiking. I go rucking. If everybody else ain't got a backpack, I got a backpack and I'm carrying everybody's crap. That's just me training whenever I can to get it in.
Yep.
So at my house, we ruck. All right. So keep your head on a swivel. My boys in the military are doing good work this past week, but word is slowly getting back. Just mind your people, especially when you go to public places. Don't know what's going to happen. All right. Keep it on you. Hug your families. Hug them.
Yep. Yeah, it's called Mymindon Press, Cindy.
Yep. Myrmidon Press.
And check his channel out. You can get a link. But yeah, check his channel out. It's a good channel. But again, tell the ones you love them. And we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a good night.
The world's champ down there.
Hero